welcome to the Adelaide Cottage podcast. This is a podcast about knitting, sewing, and hand-dyeing yarn. My name is Shauna, and I'm filming in a suburb of Buffalo, New York, and this is Dory. And she's usually not the cuddly type, but she wants to hang out today. Nope, not for long, I guess. So I know that I completely do not match. I have black and white polka dots on, and my Find Your Fade shawl is finished. So this is my only finished object for this week to show you. So I'm going to show it to you and then take it off because it's kind of hot here. But you can find me as Adelaide Cottage on Instagram and Ravelry, and there's also a group in Ravelry that you can join for knit-alongs and fun chatter, information about the episodes, as well as show notes for each episode. So definitely join the group and be a part of the Adelaide Cottage family. I have a few really cool things to announce for the group and Adelaide Cottage shop on Etsy, where I sell my hand-dyed yarns. So a couple things coming later about that, but this is my first finished, or my only finished object, but it's the Find Your Fade shawl. I'm sure most or all of you have heard about it already, but this is a pattern by Andrea Mowry, and there are 7 colorways in here, and you basically melt each color into the next. So it's kind of hard to show the whole thing, but I'll show you the colors I started with. I'm going to go through this kind of quickly because I also posted a picture on Instagram, and all the information is in my project page on Ravelry, so you can check that out. But this is a mini skein by Amber of Maker's Haven, and that melts into Fairy Hair by Kristen of Woolen Vine Yarns. This is Rose Gold by Maya of the Wool Barn. And then this one is, I can't remember the name. This is an old colorway. I want to say Strawberries and Honey, maybe? Also by the Wool Barn. It's in my project page, though, if you're wondering. And then this is by Yarn Cafe Creations. This is one of our Adelaide Cottage yarns called Slumber Party. It was a one-of-a-kind. And then this is a one-of-a-kind by Nicole of Huloco, with this mustard color. So yeah, I'm very happy with it. It is definitely a big shawl, but definitely really cozy. It'll be really nice to wear this in the fall, or on chilly nights in the summer even. Just kind of throw it over your shoulders. I'll stand up a little so you can see. But it goes way down. So, I mean, you can use it as a scarf as well. I know a lot of people don't really know how to wear this, so I thought I would be a model here. But really cute to put under your jacket in the fall. I'm happy with it. I would definitely knit another one. It's not a hard knit at all. I had a lot of fun playing with the colors and melting them together. I think that was my favorite part. So definitely fun. So I have a few whips to show you. I'm going to grab my coffee really fast, and then I'll be right back. I had to get my coffee because one must not podcast without a cup of tea or coffee. This is my Little Mermaid mug that I got in Disney World a couple of years ago, and I'm drinking Tim Hortons dark roast coffee, which I've been using ground coffee my whole entire life, but my mother-in-law, I always wonder why her coffee is so good on Sundays when we have it with dessert at her house. And I thought it was her coffee pot because she has one of those bun coffee makers. But yesterday I caught her grinding coffee beans, And I'm like, is this the secret? Like, is this is this the difference between a really good cup of coffee and a not so good one? I mean, don't get me wrong, I love my coffee at home and I always have, but then when you have freshly ground coffee that is, I don't know, it's a different taste. I can't really explain it, but so I am asking my husband for a coffee grinder for my birthday because this is Shauna's birthday month. Yay! I'm going to be 34, I think, on June 28th. So, and my smallest son's birthday is a week before mine, so it's definitely exciting. Okay, so I'm going to get on to whips. The first one that I want to show you is there's a new cast on, and then there's a project that hasn't been shown in a while that I brought back out and made a lot of progress on. And then there's a pair of socks that I'm almost finished with. All right, so these are socks that I'm knitting for myself. And this is using Knit Picks Stroll Fingering. Nope, I lied. That's the heels and toes. Oh, goodness, I'm out of practice, you guys. Okay, here it is. Hawthorn Fingering. Graffiti Speckle colorway. So that's the main color here. So I knit, these are on size US 0 needles, magic looping. This sock is on Knit Pro Zings, and I knit 50 rounds or 50 rows of 2x2 ribbing. And then I knit another 50 rows of just plain stockinette. And then I did a Fish Lips Kiss heel, and this, this is the Stroll Fingering in the Dove Heather colorway. And I really like this yarn. I picked up a few balls of this when they had it on sale, and just like, it's kind of tonal, or it's heathered, not tonal, but just a few heathered colorways because I really like them. And then on this one, I got about half of the foot done before I close off for the toe. And then I'm using a cute little Progress Keeper from Spun Right Round. This was actually part of a stitch marker set that she sells, and I just turned it into a Progress Keeper since I don't use stitch markers for socks that often. I did make one little mistake on this sock though. I was knitting the heel and I was really sleepy. And then I finished the last row of the heel and decided to start, the rounds again to start the foot, and forgot to change back to the graffiti speckle colorway. So there's one row of the gray. And I didn't realize it until I was like right about here. I'm like, oh no, this doesn't look right. So, oh well, right? These are for me. I am a person who, mistakes like this don't bother me. I'm not a perfectionist with things that are for me. Now, if these were for somebody else, I would have ripped back. But I did not feel like ripping back. And I feel like the gray's in there. It's a darker gray, but I don't know. It'll be right at the crease of my foot. I just didn't care, So that's one of them. And this is the other one. So I've been knitting these simultaneously, I guess you can say. I'm not doing, obviously, two at a time socks, but I'm doing parts of each sock and then switching to the other one. So I did the heel, or the cuff of one, the cuff of the other, the leg of one, the leg of the other, the heel of one, and then the heel of the other, and so on. And I'm really liking this method because now I have, two socks that have quite a bit done on them already. So it's not like I'm finishing one and saying, oh, I gotta, work on the other one and I want to play with this new yarn, you know, so it takes a little bit longer, but you're getting both of your socks done. So obviously same deal with this one. I just have to start the foot here. I did the fish lips kiss heel, and I have to remember to work with the graffiti speckle colorway this time. And these ones are on my Chaigu red lace minis in the size 0, which are my favorite. I started these socks on the Zings, and then when I got the Chaigus, I switched it. On one of the socks, I switched it out, and the difference between them. I just love these Chaigus so much. 2mm. Okay, so that's one of my whips I'm really enjoying. So this was my first time, I believe, doing contrast heels, and I'm going to do contrasting toes as well. And I really like doing it. It's fun to kind of, you know, pull a color from the main colorway and, you know, match it a little bit. Just gives the socks a little bit more pizzazz. Okay, so this is a new project. This is in my beautiful hand-embroidered bag by Olivia of This Handmade Life on Instagram. We did a swap last month, I believe, and we made each other bags, and this one just turned out so beautiful. And she also made me another one. I showed it in a previous podcast. But this project is for the knit along or craft along that I'm co-hosting with Kristen of the Yarngasm podcast and Villain Vine Yarns. It started on May 1st and is running through the end of June, so you still have time to cast something on. You only have to use, it's the mauve along, and you only have to use at least 50 grams of yarn or fiber in your project. So you can spin, you can crochet, you can knit, and you only have to use a minimum of 50 grams of mauve yarn in your project. So it doesn't have to be all mauve, you just have to use at least 50 grams. So this is what I decided to make for it. It's by Melody of the Mandarins podcast. It's called the Art Deco hat. And I have loved this for a long time. It's been on my radar to knit. The reason why I'm knitting a hat in the middle of, or the beginning of June, is because I didn't want to save all the hat knitting for the fall, because this year I would like to make new hats for both of my boys and my husband, because they're still wearing the ones that I made them as first knitting projects. So that was like 3 years ago. So I'd like to make them new ones this year, so I figured I'd get mine out of the way. The yarn I decided to use for this project is by Miss Babs, and it's one that I bought in Rhinebeck, and it is a wild iris, which means it's non-repeatable. But you guys, look at this mauve. Oh my goodness. It's a lot of yarn. It's one of her Yowza skeins, so it's a light worsted, and it's 100% superwash merino. You get 560 yards, and it's 8 ounces. The colorway is called Tunnel of Love. And this calls for a DK weight, I believe, this pattern. Let me just double check. I thought it was really pretty with the cabling. Yeah, DK weight. So it calls for one skein of DK about 284 yards. And then the needles, you need 2 different sizes, and I am using my Knitter's Pride, Knitter's Pride Symphony Rosewoods. And these are US size 7, so I'm using a 6 and a 7. So I used the smaller needle for the brim of the hat, and then the larger one for this detailed section. I am in love with it so far. It's a beautiful, beautiful design. So I have a little progress keeper here by Joanna of the Gnome Knitter on Etsy. It's a cute little cupcake with yummy looking frosting and chocolate and a cherry on top. So yeah, this is how far I got so far, and that's that. So if you want to join our move along, I highly recommend you do. It is a fabulous color, and there are people who weren't huge fans of mauve but joined the Cal and now are loving the color. Kristen and I are both, hi Peanut, we're both offering prizes in our groups, and you can double dip, so you can enter in both groups to win a prize. One of the prizes for my group is an Adelaide Cottage skein of Cordelia colorway, which is a pretty mauve that we dye up. And there'll be another prize to come too. So I think I'm going to select 2 winners for this move along. And then Kristen has prizes in her group. So definitely join us. It's not too late at all. You still have a month. You can knit socks, you can knit a hat, anything, as long as it's 50 grams, or crochet or spin. Okay, so that's that one. Now this one, you guys, this is my Aisling shawl, which I have not brought out of hibernation in a long time. This pattern is by Justina, I can't pronounce her last name, Lurkowska. It's not that hard. I've been almost done with the body of the shawl for months. I started this last year in July when we went to Virginia, and we're going to Virginia again this July. And I was like, I'm still not done with that shawl. And I love it. Like, I love the shawl. I love knitting it. I love the yarn because it's my favorite colorway of all time ever. It's I Am No Bird by Wool & Vine Yarns. And then for the contrasting color, I used Light Roast colorway by Adelaide Cottage. Okay, so this is the body of it. Whoop. And I brought this camping with us last weekend because I really want to get it done so that I can enjoy it. But this is the I Am No Bird, and this is the Light Roast. And on it, I have a lovely Progress Keeper, that butterfly by Amber of Maker's Haven. Her and I did a swap together a few weeks ago, and she was so super sweet. I'll show you what else she sent me too. But it came with these sweet little stitch markers that she made. A few of them actually, but I'm only using one right now because that's all I need. But okay, so I think the reason why I haven't worked on this in so long is because I was intimidated by the border. It had cabling in it, which I'd never done before. It's an applied border, which means you basically add the border, you basically attach it to the body of the shawl as you knit. So it's different than I'm used to. And there was like it looked like a scalloped edging. So I was just a little bit intimidated. But I did one, the first repeat, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is gorgeous, and it wasn't that hard. I looked up a couple of did I even need YouTube videos this time? I didn't need it because the instructions were so well written for the cable stitches. Okay, I'm going to show you this, and then I have a question for cable knitters. So this is what the border is looking like so far. Now remember, it's going to be blocked and stretched out, but you start on this side. on this edge. And then you work these, this is like a whole repeat. You work this all the way down, you know, this way. And then when you get to this end, you attach it to the body of the shawl. So I do have a question. I, for the life of me, cannot, I'm just making sure that we're still recording. I cannot think of a way to remember the cable stitches. I don't want to give away too much because it's a paid pattern, but for instance, there's a difference between 2x2, like LPC and RPC, and then there's a difference between 2/3 LPC and RPC, and then there's like ones with asterisks by them, and I can't think of a common sense way to remember what they mean because it's not like it sounds. Like you'd think 2x2, I don't know, I probably sound ridiculous. But while I was knitting, I was looking at, you know, the directions, and I'm like, I don't know. I'm not explaining it very, very well, and it would be better if I was actually knitting and looking, because then I'd be able to explain it. But I don't know. It just seems like it's not hard to do. I just have to look at the instructions every time I do the stitch because I'm not used to cabling, like I said. It's something very new to me, and it definitely has a beautiful result. I'm really excited about the fact that I did it, and it doesn't look like a hot mess. It looks really pretty. So yeah, I'm really happy with this. So I probably have about a quarter of the border done, and then I just have to get all the way to this end. But these are on Chai Goose, US size 4, which is 3.5 millimeter. And yeah, I'm happy with this shawl. I can't wait till it's done. Completely my colors. Okay, so I want to show you a little bit of a shop update, news about the shop, and then I want to show you a couple of purchases that I made and a few of my favorite things that I've been enjoying over the month of May. So first I want to show you the, I just said a shop update and then I went to the things that I'm buying. Okay, so I'm going to grab these. Okay, so this is my super squeaky vintage chair that I'm sitting on, so I apologize for the squeaking, but that's what you're hearing. So in the shop right now, there are also some pre-orders for a few of the colorways. We have In the Garden, this is Star Spangled, which I thought would be fun to release again for the month of June with 4th of July coming up, and I even have some on the Twinkle base, which has Stellina in it, which reminds me of fireworks. So I think this would make a cool pair of socks or even a little shawlette or something to wear that day. This is a new one inspired by Dirty Dancing, one of my favorite movies, and it's called Hungry Eyes. This is the second one inspired by Dirty Dancing, and it's called The Time of My Life. I wanted to incorporate some of the lighting near the stage when they were dancing to that song. And so there's some really orangish red. There's orange, there's peach, pink. This is Atlantis, inspired by the place I was married. This is Our Hearts Are Neighbors, which has peach, purple, and like a sandy color. This is Seafoam. Blueberry Muffin. And the ever so popular Reader, I Married Him. So this is inspired by Jane Eyre. And there are all kinds of colors in here. There's a mauve. Let's see, the sun's blocking. The sun's throwing it off a little bit. There's like copper, fawn, pink, browns, blues. Really fun. There's also pre-orders. This sold out as well as a few other ones, but I opened pre-orders because I want everybody to get the colorways that they would like. So there's pre-orders for this and also for Bertha Mason, which is the other Jane Eyre colorway. And Pop-Tarts, and what other one? Hungry Eyes, Time of My Life, and I think that's it. So that's the shop update. Head over there if you're interested in any of those colorways before the pre-orders close and what I have in stock sells out. So that's Adelaide Cottage on Etsy, and I will put the link below for you. And be sure to subscribe if you enjoy my podcast so that you get notified whenever there's a new episode. Okay, so for the Maker's Haven swap that I did with Sweet Amber, I just love her podcast. She makes me happy when I watch her. She sent me this gorgeous skein. I can't even right now. Like, look at those colors. I love them. I love anything with this, like, golden orange. Oh, so pretty. So this is the Lovely Sock Base, which is 75% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 5% sparkle, and it's the Just Smile colorway. And then she sent me a handmade lavender sachet, which she hand-stitched around the edges, which is a really nice touch. So thank you, Amber. And there were other goodies in there too, but these are the yarny ones that I wanted to show you. Okay, so I made a couple of purchases. The lovely Sarah of Love Sock Wool podcast made Jane Eyre project bags, and I jumped all over it. So we did a little swap. She sent me one of her bags, and I sent her one of my Jane Eyre colorways, Reader, I Married Him. So she's just adorable. Look at this pretty bag. It's like vintage Jane Eyre pattern, and then there's this like washed jean. It's not jean material, but it looks like jean. It's so pretty. And then the inside has this beautiful vintage floral fabric. Isn't it pretty, you guys? I love it. So there's that. And then Disney has my heart. And I bought one of these from her as well. Get Lost in a Book. That's sweet. And then inside is red with the flowers, the roses. So Sarah, I just love them. I love my Sarah bags. So she's hosting a Bronte along where you can join in with any Bronte novel inspired project or yarn, Jane Eyre, any of the Bronte stories. And I am going to knit socks with my Bertha Mason colorway, I believe. So that will be really fun, and I'm going to put it in this project bag, and it's going to be super fun. So definitely head over to her podcast and Ravelry group. Oh my goodness, it started on the 1st, I believe, the Bronte along. I'm almost positive it started June 1st. So I have to get moving. I have to wind my yarn up. A couple more purchases we went camping. We love to camp, my husband and our 2 sons. We went to the Yogi Bear Jellystone camping ground in New York here. And I was like, I need a Yogi Bear project bag, duh. So I bought some fabric. I just got a half a yard of each since I knew I was just making a single project bag. And I'll make a little notions pouch with my excess fabric, but I got this. My friend Emily told me about this. She's like, there's Yogi Bear camping fabric, you know. I'm like, what? No way. So here he is, cooking some hot dogs with s'mores. I don't really know, marshmallows and hot dogs? I don't know. He's a bear, what do you expect? But he's by the campfire, and then there's trees in the background. And then I got this, because I think I'm going to make a patchwork one. So I got this color to kind of tone it down a little bit. Because there's so much color in this other fabric. So they'll go together nicely, I think. Okay, so this fabric I bought from Cassie of Sew Stitching Happy. She has an Etsy shop and she's on Instagram. I've mentioned her before. I just love her shop. It's a little fabric shop, and she's got so many pretty designer fabrics there. And she often offers bundles in her shop where you can get, you know, miscellaneous bundles that she puts together. And on Wednesday evenings, she has an Instagram sale where she creates 2 bundle sets that you can like bid on Instagram. Like she'll have a certain number of them, and then you just put like sold or I would like one, and then you send her your PayPal email, and she mails it to you once you pay for it, of course. But I've gotten a couple from her, actually 3 or so. But this is my latest one. How cute is that? I just fell in love with the kittens. I love all the fabrics, of course. This gray one says the sweetest words like apricot, lemon, fresh, bird song, plum, happy, flower, spring, sweet, summer, trees. I just love that. So these 2 are my favorites. This is like a hopscotch. I'm not even on the camera right now. And yeah, I don't know what I'm doing with this. That's not why you buy fabric. You buy it just to have it. That's my problem, people. And then I got one of these because I'm making myself a Disney Princess Beauty and the Beast quilt. I am surrounded by boys all the time, and boy things, and stepping on Legos, and superhero everything, which, trust me, I love having boys. But sometimes I just want to snuggle with something girly, so this is going to be my girly thing. I'm sure you guys have seen the fabrics. Sarah used one of these in the project bag that I purchased from her, but there's all different colors. There's the beast. And yeah, I think it'll be pretty. So, okay, so I have a couple of my favorite things to share with you. This is my latest and greatest. I've been using a planner for years, and I've been using Erin Condren planners ever since I worked in the hospitals as a nurse. I always loved these because you can personalize them. This is the one that I just got. She just had a launch of her 2017-2018 planners, and this one I had my name put on. But there are so many different covers, and they're interchangeable, so you can, they just pop right out, and then you can you could buy just the covers if you want. But I was always like just a pen planner. That's all I used in here. But one of my friends, Jilly, introduced me to the world of stickers in your planner. I'm talking about Jilly of the Knitting Broomstick podcast. So I went on a mission and started watching Plan With Me videos and browsing all the sticker shops and ended up buying a ton of stickers, new fancy colorful pens, and I'm excited. I'm really excited because I just love it. So in here I have a little party planner that she offers, like for Evan's 4th birthday party, where there's like checklists for certain times before the party. And then there's the back with a guest list and menu. These are dry erase boards. They're on the front and the back. It comes with a pocket folder. And this is the watercolor print. It comes with sticker sheets in the back that are foiled and beautiful. This is the Painted Petals watercolor cover, and it's my absolute favorite, but like I said, she's got tons. And then each month has like a really pretty quote in it. It comes with a pocket pouch. If you want to add that, you can. Otherwise, you can remove it. So there's a monthly view for every month, as well as weekly. And the paper, she improved this year, and it's so thick. I just love it. So this is the vertical weekly, but you can also get horizontal or hourly. I am going to put a link down below with, it's a referral link where you can get $10 off your first Erin Condren purchase. And I will also earn $10 for referring you. I'm not sponsored by Erin Condren in any way. This is just a referral code that she offers to her customers. So I highly recommend it. She's coming out with teacher planners in like 4 days for the new year, new ones. And you can purchase anything on her shop and get $10 off. So I love, and I also bought, it's like a pop-in Post-it note thing with the watercolor theme. I got so many accessories. She's got washi tape or like paper tape, pen or markers, dry erase markers. I bought it all, you guys. Another project I worked on, since I'm obsessed with watercolor right now, I wanted to paint on my own fabric. So I just bought like a yard of white fabric and painted watercolors on it. So I'm going to probably turn this into a project bag for myself. If I'm able to make any more for the shop, I'll stick those in the Etsy shop. A couple of things for the shop that's new and exciting. I'm so excited about this. So I am going to be hosting a year-long Adelaide along. How do you guys like that? I really like the roll of the tongue. So it's going to be a year-long knit-along starting July 1st, going through the end of June of next year. You can knit anything you want in Adelaide Cottage yarns. It has to be just at least 50 grams of it. So there will be a post open in the Ravelry group. Like I said, this start July 1st, and every month I'm going to draw a prize winner. So you just have to post in the FO thread with your finished object before the deadline, for the month, and then I will draw a prize winner. So all the details will be in the Ravelry group if you want to check it out. But I think it'll be a really fun way to see all of, our fun colorways knit up into fun things. And you can kind of get an idea of what colorways look like before you purchase them and how they look with other yarns. It doesn't have to be, it has to be all Adelaide Cottage yarns. So that's the only thing. So at least 50 grams of Adelaide Cottage yarns, and you can only use Adelaide Cottage yarns in the project. So details are in the Ravelry group. Like I said, the second announcement is I'm going to be opening spots in the Etsy shop very soon for a Gilmore Girls yarn club. It's going to be a 3-month club where each month you will receive an exclusive Gilmore Girls inspired colorway. And there will be colorways that I've never dyed up before. I already have a Pop-Tarts colorway, and I dyed up Rory, Lorelei, and oh my gosh, what was the other one, you guys? I don't really dye it too much anymore. Pop-Tarts is really the one that stuck around, but they're going to be new, and they'll only be available to club members for 6 months after that club ends. So I'm hoping to continue it another 3 months. We'll see how it goes, but for now, I'm going to open spots July 1st, because that will give me time to get my ideas together and things like that, and get the yarn in stock. And then, so July 1st, it will be open. I'll keep it open 1 or 2 days. I'm thinking 1 day. And then the yarn will be dyed and shipped out by the 15th of the month, so July 15th. It's going to come with a progress keeper because I love progress keepers. I have a slight addiction to them. 2 of them will be made by me, so 1 per month you'll receive. You'll receive a skein of yarn and a progress keeper. So the first 2 months, the progress keeper will be made by me, and on the 3rd month, we're hoping to collaborate with Joanna of the Gnome Knitter for a very special handmade progress keeper by her. So I'm guaranteeing 3, at least a progress keeper made by me, but it will be a bonus if Joanna is able to collaborate, because she's got a few things going on this summer, so she couldn't do all 3 months, unfortunately. Anywho, that's super exciting, isn't it? Because I love Gilmore Girls. So basically, the yarn will be on it could be on any of my bases that I offer in the shop, and the colorway's, a mystery until you receive it, and it will be inspired by either a character in the show or a setting in the show or something like that. So I will definitely include a little snippet in your package of how I came up with the colorway, what it's inspired by, and so on. So I hope that you guys join in. There will be a limited amount of slots available, so definitely follow me on Instagram and turn your notifications on for my posts if you're interested in that, so that you're able to snag a spot when it opens. I'm hoping to even include another little surprise in your package each month, but I'm not going to tell you for sure. You'll see the details when I post them on Instagram. So that's it for today. This is kind of a long episode. Thank you all for your well wishes when I posted that I wasn't feeling well from camping. I just overdid it. I get a lot of days like that, actually, where I just can't do a lot physically, but that's just part of my life now, and I accept it, and I'm okay with it. I just don't like to complain a lot, because I'm grateful to have the outcome that I have. It could have been a lot worse. So I hope all of you are well. I hope I didn't forget anything. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Definitely subscribe if you like this podcast, so that I know you're enjoying it and I continue to do them. Enjoy this beautiful weather that hopefully you're all having. I know my peonies here behind me, I just got from my garden this morning. They just bloomed yesterday. So they only stay beautiful like that for maybe 2 weeks or so, and then all the petals fall off. So I decided this year to cut about 3 of them off so I can enjoy them a little bit more. But I'm just loving the fresh air and being outside. We set up a little spot in our garden in the yard with a bird bath, and we planted some wildflower seeds and put some more bird feeders out, and I just adore that spot. Eventually I'm going to put a hammock on the trees when they get mature enough, and we could just relax there and knit and listen to the birds chirping. So that is all. I will chat with you guys on Instagram and in the Ravelry groups, and looking forward to all the exciting things for Adelaide Cottage and Yeah, that's about it. So be well, be happy, and we'll chat soon. Bye.